Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Adventure Seeker Sarah show, but it's a special crossover episode because I've got this guy here. Yeah, this is Josh from Hey
Hi.
Josh, What You Drinking? Also on Connect TV, and you can find him on YouTube and then also on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok at thatbeerthing.ca.
Yeah, thatbeerthing.ca
So,
and
lots of beer
that beer thing on the TikTok and Instagram.
on the TikTok.
The tickety talk.
This is what happens when us old people go on TikTok. Yeah. Just so we're clear. So we're going to talk a little bit, but I've also brought some beer for us to try. You say yay, but I do know some things about you, Josh. And I know that you're not a huge fan of flavored beers.
Not a big fan, but
sometimes we come across one that you really like, and that's
every now
great.
and then, right?
But here's the thing. We've drank on camera before together.
We have.
And it often ends up as, oh, that's another good IPA.
Because we usually choose something we would enjoy, right?
Right.
Knowing that we would enjoy it and then do the show. So, yeah.
Which is great because yay beer, and beer is tasty. But I also got some things that might dance like a little bit outside of the comfort zone today. So I'm gonna show you what you got. Some are within reason. Others very, very, very outside of reason.
Well, if you see, there's one up already on Hey Josh, What You Drinking on YouTube, and I'm doing a series on pumpkin beer, and like you just said, I don't really. Putting things in my beer is not really my favorite, but I'm trying to be as objective as possible.
Well, let's start.
Oh, cool! That's
pumpkin beer.
That's actually one that I have for the series.
Is it? Okay. Well, we won't do a thorough review then, which we weren't planning on doing anyways. But we have this one. I'm going to show you them all now.
Excellent.
I've been hiding them from him up until this point. So we have Theater of Madness by Flying Monkeys, which is a pumpkin lager.
Love the monkeys.
Yeah, strong beer brewed with pumpkin and spices. So
is it actually with pumpkin?
It is, yeah.
Okay.
It's beer brewed with pumpkin and spices, and this is a 6%. So just on like the low end of what we would consider a strong beer, but delicious. We have Collective Arts Stranger Than Coffee and Maple Syrup Porter. Ooh. So I assume that's like a riff on their Stranger Than Fiction.
I would say so, yeah.
I've almost never met a Collective Arts beer that I didn't like.
Pretty much, except for the one that tastes like.
There's one that tastes like sunscreen. But that's just because I don't think that coconut belongs in. I think it was coconut, wasn't it? That was the problem.
Coconutty.
Yeah. So generally speaking, though, every one of their beers is fantastic. So even though coffee and maple, that's okay for a porter. That'll be all right.
That seems like it should work.
We also have this one, which is pretty standard. We have our Cowbell Brewing Light and Dark Oatmeal Vanilla Black Lager.
That sounds interesting.
I like vanilla.
Yeah,
so, I'm not sure that it belongs in beer, but I guess we'll find out.
Especially maybe not in a lager, but.
And here's where it gets a little weird.
Here we go.
Okay. So we have Fluffity Fluff Fluff Double IPA, also from Flying Monkey. It is a cotton candy double IPA. Okay, so I'm gonna make this possibly less awful.
Yeah, I'm in.
I did, just because every time I buy like a weird beer, I tend to ask the clerk at the counter, like, I'm gonna buy this anyways, but have you tried it? Have you heard any feedback? And the lady today that I bought this from said, "Oh my gosh, yes, I can't believe you just asked that. I actually have tried that this morning." So the rep was in and had them all try it, and she said that it's actually really good.
All right, well,
so I think
I like cotton candy and I like beer, but I'm not sure if I like cotton candy in my beer. So
sure, I mean, I like cheeseburgers and I like beer. I'm not trying to shove a cheeseburger into my beer and try to drink it, but I'm not so sure about that one myself.
Okay,
but if I'm gonna get someone else to be outside of their comfort zone, I should make sure that I'm pushing my comfort zone too. I don't mean rafting.
Okay, no, you're not getting
I made that mistake once. Okay. So if you haven't heard that story, go read about it on Facebook.
Well, you wouldn't have got me on that boat anyway.
Oh, goodness gracious, no. Okay, so I think the right thing to do is to start with the most normal and work our way through.
Yeah.
So maybe the black lager to start.
That sounds reasonable.
Yeah. So we'll start with our oatmeal vanilla black lager.
Can I take a look at the can?
You certainly can.
Okay. This is a Cowbell. So they're good. They're always good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So
this I expect a
German style black lager, which is good.
Vanilla wafers.
But then they put
dark chocolate.
It seems that they put chocolate and vanilla in with the black lager. Okay. Well, Schwarzbier.
Actually, I'm kind of excited about this.
Flavored Schwarzbier. I'm in.
All right.
Okay.
So
while you're doing that, I got to take a picture of the pours for.
Of course.
For our...
I really wish I had like proper, the smaller flight glasses, but I don't.
Oh well.
We'll get them eventually, but for now, we're using IKEA glasses because we're poor.
Okay.
So there we go.
And you have children who probably end up breaking every glass in the house.
I mean, not so much now. Most of them are older and don't break shit all the time.
Well, now that we only have one kid in the house and glasses get broken, I still blame them somehow. It's like, who broke my glass? Like, you did.
That was you, yes.
Oh, okay.
Okay, there we go. Oh, that smells really good. Okay, so while we're pouring this, why don't we talk a little bit about our project together?
Okay, cool.
So I'll let you. Which one? Okay. So why don't we talk about that beer thing? Let's start with that. And this is a blog that I would like to say that we write, but mostly Josh writes. We'll get there.
He gets to it.
Yeah. So beer reviews. I have some interviews coming up. A little bit of beer news here and there.
Yeah, and I'm in the process of arranging some guest. I guess I'd say guest bloggers, but more like contributors to the social media stuff, more so than actually writing posts. But yeah, that's pretty cool. A friend from a gentleman I met in Nova Scotia. He is on board to do some videos with me on Hey Josh, What You Drinking, and another young lady I met in who was in Guelph. She's on board to do some too.
Awesome.
And she's actually works in the beer industry, so that's even more exciting.
You also have some interesting interviews coming up that I think maybe we can't announce yet.
Okay.
But definitely go follow.
Oh yeah, you have to follow it.
Hey Josh, What You Drinking? Because there are some very fun and exciting interviews coming up with people that even you might recognize. So okay, let's give this a sip, and then I have some more questions.
Okay.
It smells so good.
It's just very chocolatey. It smells like a.
You can't smell the vanilla as much as I expected.
I like chocolatey milk almost.
It does kind of smell like chocolate milk with coffee. Oh wow, that's a lot lighter than I would have expected.
Yeah.
Now you can really taste like a vanilla wafer when you drink it, but I didn't smell that really.
Oh, that's actually really nice.
This is very good. Okay, so I'm putting this on the list to buy again.
So that's actually a black lager instead of like a heavy stout kind of thing. So
really good.
It's not as
espresso, dark chocolate, vanilla wafers.
So when we get to the porter, I think we'll notice a big difference.
I expected this to be good. This is very light compared to what we would normally drink, like 4%.
It's only 4%,
but it's delicious.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
So the other thing that we have coming up just before Christmas is the beer boxes.
The boxes.
So why don't you just give a quick overview of what that is? Now, of course, that's only really good right now for people in Ontario, but
Ontario, mostly Ottawa, but we can get it to the bigger Ontario. The beer subscription boxes are beers selected by me with information and links to a special customized video review for each one on Hey Josh, What You Drinking on the YouTube.
Sort of like the YouTube, sort of like a tasting experience, right?
Tasting experience. It'll include the beer, the tasting experience, some swag from the brewery, and some a snack to go with with one of the selections for sure, and some of that beer thing swag too is right.
I'm like wildly excited about this. This is gonna be a lot of fun.
It's pretty cool.
So that's I think the most exciting beer thing that we have coming up. Although there are lots of other things in the works because we both just really like beer. So why not have fun with it, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So those are in production, right? Getting ready to be made now, and where people can look on that beer thing.
Yeah, the beerthing.ca. And I think we're also talking about maybe for people who can't order the beer boxes because right now they're local. Right. We're also going to have some other beer related merch going up, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So
Good. I'm excited, and I'm seems like a cool thing to do to get it out to the bigger audience.
Mm-hmm. This is really good. So
This is so good.
I don't normally drink beer that is 4%, right? Like that's just not something that I would typically do. I just don't find it flavorful enough most of the time. Those stronger, hoppier beers are really more for me. But this has so much flavor.
It really does.
Here, there's a little bit more here. It has so much flavor in just 4% beer. Like that's.
It's I'm getting a lot of coffee stuff off it. Oh, espresso for sure. Yeah. Dark chocolate and vanilla wafer. It was just a wafer theme. Cool.
Yeah.
You want some more?
No, you go ahead. All right. So we've talked a little bit about some of the adventures that we've had since, we are on Adventure Seeker Sarah. We're going to talk adventure, but I'm going to ask you about an adventure that I wasn't there for, but was 100% my fault. So
what happened?
So if you've been watching over time, you may have seen the episode of Adventure Seeker Sarah where we hopped onto our wild and crazy ARC bus and I interviewed a whole bunch of people that have been on interviews on adventures with me, right?
Yep.
But Josh, why don't you tell us how that bus got to Ontario?
And how much longer it took to get here than it should have. It started on a casual Thursday afternoon, and you and I were discussing the tours that we were trying to set up in Halifax, and something, it just wasn't working out the way we had planned. The best laid plans and all that. I'm sure we did everything right to make it work, but it didn't catch on. And
sometimes life wants to go in another direction. That's okay.
So we put our brains together one Thursday afternoon and said, well, if it's not working there, bring it home and let's make it work at home. So I literally packed up my stuff, which was not much, as 3 changes of clothes and my personal items, which were at your mom's house.
Yeah. Okay. I have to interject here because I was talking to my mother just after Josh left, and she was like, I didn't even know what you said on the phone. It was like he hung up and all of a sudden his bags were packed. And he was like, okay, bye. Well, no, not really. But he was like, you're gone so fast.
The fact that I didn't have anything. So I went to go get the bus, and first of all, it didn't start, which was
right.
So it had actually been parked in the yard for the week. And
it wasn't even that long.
It wasn't even that. It was maybe 3 days, 4 days. But unbeknownst to us, there was some sort of drain on the very small drain on the battery. But anyway, we got that taken care of. The guy came and boosted, and away we went. So I gassed up in Dartmouth, and I grabbed a McDonald's meal, and I drove to, where did I drive to? In the next couple hours, I drove to Fredericton. Was it Fredericton? Or
we would have been almost to there. Maybe Moncton.
Yeah, Moncton or Fredericton. I can't remember now. If I look at the map, I can't remember. And then I slept in the parking lot of another McDonald's where it was already closed by that time. And so off I go in the morning, bright and early. Sun comes up. I'm going to get home to Ottawa today. So Friday morning, I'm going to get home to Ottawa by Friday night.
Which, for anyone who doesn't live in Canada or doesn't know Canadian geography well, that is actually very reasonable. Like, we do the Nova Scotia to Ontario trip in one day all the time. So
generally that trip should from there to home should be that's
12 hours.
12 hours, 14 hours tops if you have to stop and pee. So I make it goes well, and I make it almost as far as Quebec City, and the bus just keeps overheating and stalling out. Like you're driving along the bus can only go 100 tops anyway. So I'm driving along at 100 kilometers an hour, which is kind of ticking people off behind me anyway, truckers and people. But I make it almost to Quebec City, and the bus it decides it's only going to go like 45, 50. And so I'm driving along, and it just keeps overheating. So I just keep pulling over and stopping until it seems better. And eventually I made it home, right? What was it?
It was like 3 days though.
Well, it was an extra full day.
Yeah.
It took an extra full day to get from just outside of Quebec City to Ottawa. because I had to stop, and eventually I had to stop and sleep too. Yeah, that was an adventure, but
so I actually like met him at the garage.
Yep.
Drove the bus straight there, and got it fixed. Turns out it was just the water pump.
Just the water pump?
Yeah.
Because as far as I could tell, I was filling coolant back into it every 3 or 4 hours. But
yeah.
Anyway, yeah, that was fun.
Yes.
But also driving the bus and seeing it was a beautiful drive. It was hot. It
is a beautiful drive.
It was hot and beautiful, and I don't know. I kind of had a good time, but yeah.
But a weird adventure, a good time.
By the time I got back, I was ready to just sleep for the next 2 days.
Oh man,
yeah.
I can't even imagine just being stuck with the bus suddenly going 50 and turning off constantly because
the only time that was an actual problem was going through Montreal. So I actually drove through Montreal, and at 50 kilometers an hour during rush hour, and they were angry at me.
Oh yeah,
like those Montrealers where they'd like speed by me, honk honk, give me the.
Again, for anyone who's not familiar with Canada, Montreal is kind of known for aggressive drivers and for being a little bit of a crazy place to drive. It has what I call spaghetti highways, where like they're just like this all over the place on top of one another. And who designed that city?
Oh, somebody on a Montrealer.
Yeah, but you made it.
I made it,
and that's great.
And it was an adventure. So in the end, yay, adventure, fun.
Finish that beer. We got another one.
Okay.
All right. So from here, I think we should move on to the coffee and maple syrup porter from Collective Arts. Yeah, it says Stranger Than, so I assume that's a riff on their Stranger Than Fiction
series,
but just
which I usually
has coffee and maple.
So the Stranger Than Fiction series is usually like a sour, isn't it? As I recall.
I thought their Stranger Than Fiction was their porter.
I have to look it up.
Yeah, do that.
All right. Pour it up.
Oh. You'll like the smell of this one.
Stranger Than Fiction.
Delicious.
Stranger Than Fiction.
It smells really good. I know I keep saying that, but it really does.
Stranger Than Fiction beer. Okay. Collective Arts. Oh yeah, it's the porter.
Yeah, it's the porter. Yeah, so I think this is just like a maple and
so this is a flavored version of the same thing.
Riff on it. Yeah. Now, so this is maple syrup and coffee, and smell that.
Maple syrup and coffee.
Like it smells like an iced cappuccino.
Yeah.
From Tim Hortons.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh my God. That is the best smelling beer I've ever smelled. What a weird sentence to say, but seriously. Okay, let's give it a go. Oh.
It tastes like an ice cap, and it tastes like an ice cap from. Sorry, Tim Hortons. It tastes like an ice cap from Tim Hortons too.
It's just with maple syrup in it.
Don't they sell a maple flavor?
They do. Yeah, they do, and that's exactly what it tastes like.
It's too sweet for just general drinking.
It is. Like I'd never drink more than one of these.
No, can I see that?
But boy, it's delicious. So this one's 5.5%, which is sort of closer to the lower end of what we would normally drink. But boy, that's really delicious.
Yeah. Nice.
So another thing that I've sort of pushed you towards a little bit. Now, I talk a lot about going and getting out into nature and looking closely at things and how important that is because we should be connected to nature. So you've been going on a lot of walks recently.
Yes. Yeah. Right.
What would you say is your favorite part of getting out for hikes? Hikes. I use that pretty loosely, but
well, if I go with you constantly stop and point things out, and it turns out I learned a thing or two about nature and naturey things that I didn't know before, which is pretty cool. But also, it's just getting out and getting some fresh air and seeing things that I wouldn't usually have noticed before. And
so I'm curious. Do you think either of us are hardy enough to continue that on into the winter?
Oh, it depends on how cold it is. I'm not
much of a winter person.
I don't like the cold very much. And I'm always worried that I'll slip and fall in the winter.
For sure.
And with my bad knees, getting up, falling is not as bad as trying to get up out of the snowbank that I fall in.
Hashtag Canadian problems.
Well, no kidding. Maybe I'll get those boots.
I was just gonna say that. So again, if you're not familiar with Canada, we have some pretty severe winters, and it's very snowy, very icy, very cold. And so there are these things that you can attach to your boots that basically have spikes on the bottom, so that you can grab into the.
They have a name, right? Like,
they do. I just call them winter cleats because they remind me of like soccer cleats, but I'm sure they have an actual name. I just don't know what it is. Yeah, it's really good. Eh?
I don't know. Other than that, I went for a walk. I went for a walk without you. So, and what was it? The Mayor. How do you say that? Mare Blue blog. And if you hold your hand out with the seeds in it, the birds will land in your hand. Yeah. And that was they're like little claws.
Yeah, you've never done that before?
No,
oh my
never.
Goodness. Yeah, Limekiln Trail also.
Well, that's near my place.
It is. The chickadees and the nuthatches will come and land on you.
Nuthatches.
Yeah, that's what they're called.
And there was a wild squirrel that was throwing pine cones at us.
What? Squirrels hate you, man.
They hate me, yeah.
Okay, so
okay, to be fair though, they didn't hate me. They hated everybody who was in their forest.
Like anytime I've seen you around squirrels, they're just like yelling at you and throwing things at you. We had a birthday party for me here in the driveway during the pandemic because we weren't allowed like within 12 feet of people or whatever. And we have an oak tree in between our yard and the neighbor's yard. Mm-hmm. And at one point, Josh was wearing a mixing bowl on his head as a helmet because the squirrels were just throwing acorns down constantly.
Mixing bowl helmet.
I've never seen the squirrels throw acorns before.
Again, it wasn't specifically me, right?
No.
They were throwing
at all of us.
Giving me a complex, man.
No, it's not just you, because my first memory of squirrels throwing things at people was we built a new deck on our house when I was very little. There was a big oak tree out back.
Okay.
And the squirrels were not a fan of the new construction. And every time we went out on our deck, they'd just pelt acorns at us. So, they know what they want.
Stupid squirrels.
All right. Well, I finish this off.
Yeah,
it was really good.
That was really good. I finished it quick.
So for anyone watching who has followed along with my adventures, like, for example, when I just went to Africa recently, this is Jen's husband. So Jen, who I was with, who was on that crazy rafting trip with me where we almost died.
Trip of doom.
Yeah. So this is Jen's husband. And I've seen a lot of people saying to both of you, but especially to you, things like, "Oh my gosh, you let your wife go away for 2 months without you."
As if.
So, but it is, I mean, of course we laugh at that because you don't own people and you don't control people, and not enough people understand that. But aside from that, it is an unusual thing to do, to separate for a couple of months to go do a thing.
But how could I don't get how if someone had the opportunity to do something as cool as go live in Zambia for 2 months, how someone else would say, "Don't do that, I'll miss you." It's like, okay, get over it.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, and that's exactly what I was going to ask. Like, what's your logic behind that? And I think that is perfect logic. Yes, absolutely.
With technology, we talk as much with technology as if she was in the living room anyway. So
maybe more.
Sometimes. What difference does it make?
Yeah. No, I agree. Remember when you were in Nova Scotia and she was sending you like big long messages like she does to me, because we're best friends. We talk 1,000 times a day, and sometimes the messages are this long.
Oh yeah.
And
she definitely talks more to you than
and you were just
anyway.
Like, why so many words? Like, what is happening right now? Can you not do that? Like that? Maybe narrow down your thoughts first.
Point form,
and then send a message. But no, it is great. It's great to see that people can be in a strong relationship and still support what their partner wants or needs to do, right?
I've seen your Facebook. I mean, half of your followers are not here anyway, right? And they still contact you and talk to you. You interact with a lot of them.
I do. Yeah. I do. Now, this seems like a really important time to point out. I will try to answer every single person that messages me. I really think it's
as long as they're being respectful.
Yes, of course. But here's the thing. I'm going to tell you, I've said this a few times, but I think maybe the message isn't getting through. If you try to call me or video chat me without my consent, you will immediately get restricted. Not because I don't think it's nice to call people or video chat with people, but I am very busy, so it's difficult to do that. But also, if I allowed people to just do that, literally, remember that first couple of weeks?
Yeah, you'd have
my phone never stopped ringing. I have to keep my phone on silent all the time now, which is actually kind of not great since I, have people that might actually need to contact me.
That too. But, I mean, you actually have legitimate business to conduct too.
Yeah.
If your clients can't get a hold of you.
But yes, so do not try to video call me or voice call me without asking me first. And I'll almost certainly say no. Like, I might be able to schedule calls from time to time, but if I get an unsolicited call, immediate restrict, which I hate doing because I don't like just, pushing people to the side, but for practical reasons. That is the thing that has to happen. Okay, I'm not drinking fast enough.
Yeah, hurry up.
Okay, so while I drink this,
that was really good though. I would.
It is really good. So while I drink this, you said that you had one of the pumpkin beers up on YouTube already.
I do, yes.
So why don't you talk a little bit about that? Because we're going to try another pumpkin beer in a moment.
Okay, sure. Oh boy, I wish I could. It was a pumpkin beer from.
Hey, if they want to figure it out, they can go follow it.
Yeah, I'm hating that I can't remember the. It was a brewery from Vaughan. That's what I do remember. Vaughan, Ontario. I wish I could remember. It was called. Yeah, I don't.
Okay, why don't you tell me what you thought of it, anyway, and then they can go and watch the whole review.
It was a pumpkin ale, which was a nice ale, quite enjoyable. I liked it, and it had actual pumpkin puree in the ingredients, so it actually had a pumpkin-y, a vegetable kind of flavor to it. But where a lot of them that I find are really just heavy-handed in the spices. It was very nice. It was a good balance of, and it actually tasted like, without being overly sweet, like pumpkin pie.
Ooh, okay.
And I'm sorry, I can't remember the name of it now. This is definitely one that I picked up. It is on my YouTube channel now. Hey Josh, what you drinking? And under the new series of thing is called Does Pumpkin Belong in Beer? So there'll be 4 or 5 or 6 episodes coming in the next few days.
Fantastic. Okay, so then we will try another pumpkin lager. So this one is from Flying Monkeys, which we love a lot of their beers.
They're well known for their strong beers.
They're very strong beers. Yeah. So they have a quadruple IPA, don't they?
That comes in at what, 9%?
No, that one's almost 12. I forget the name of that one. We had it several times.
A couple times.
But they have a 9% one, I think, or an almost 8 point something, and then they also have an 11 point something. Both of which are actually quite good. One's a creamsicle flavor. Which seemed like it was going to be a little weird, but was okay.
Yeah, like the kind of orangey, citrusy flavor to it.
And I forget what the other one is, but they were both good.
I like the juicy acids.
Yeah, that's sort of the go-to,
that's
right?
Kind of in the middle there.
They have that at a lot of bars on tap.
They sure do.
That's one that I go to a lot. All right, Theater of Madness. I like that. So this one's 6%. Anything else we should know here? Pureed pumpkin. Yeah. And then, of course, your pumpkin spices, cinnamon, allspice, nutmeg.
Yeah.
Oh, no clove.
So the odd...
I put clove.
It actually says which kind. Most of them just say spices.
Yeah.
Spices.
So let's see. Now, of course, I'm being a terrible hostess and not cleaning our glasses in between.
Oh, well.
So you might also get a tiny hint of coffee and maple.
Ooh. We should have had a third.
Hybrid.
We should have had a third cup where we pour a little bit.
Mix. Oh my gosh, that actually would probably be really good.
Or really terrible.
Only one way to find out, Josh.
True.
Only one way to find out.
Yeah. See, and this is my issue with pumpkin spice. Pretty much anything that isn't actually pumpkin pie.
Mm-hmm.
It's the kind of overwhelming spice
yeah
aroma first.
I wonder if you'd actually enjoy my pumpkin pie. I put a lot of spice in it. So one thing I really like, this is like a weird thing to fixate on, but one thing I really like about Flying Monkey, aside from the beer, is I really like their cans. They're like really fun and artistic.
Nice can.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and Collective Arts always
has awesome art on their cans. Like, have you been to their brewery?
In Hamilton? Right? No, I haven't made it to Hamilton.
There are murals of like some of their best can art, like all over the place. It's really cool. I have pictures somewhere.
Fill the bus.
All right, let's see. Oh, I see. I like the pumpkin spice smells. I'm not sure it's like a thing that should be beer, but
so when I sniff it, it seems like it's going to be a little overwhelming, but it's not as.
Yeah,
I like that.
It actually, it's really
surprisingly quite like that. So far, all the ones that
it's very cinnamony.
You thought I might not like, I've liked actually.
Well, the big ones to come still.
That's pretty exciting. So, yeah, again, I wouldn't just like the Creative Arts ones. I wouldn't want to drink it.
No.
On the regular, but would be a nice dessert beer, or maybe with pumpkin pie or instead of. But
so that's what I find with a lot of the like flavored beers, right? That it's. Even sours, which I really like. I know you're not a big fan, but
yeah.
So it's sours. I'm not really still sure I can consider them beer.
Yeah,
but I do like them.
Right, exactly. I still think they're more like kombuchas.
Yeah, but generally with the flavored beers, even if I like them, I don't think I could sit and drink like 3 or 4 in a row.
No,
but still tasty.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have an adventure planned for. Well, we have lots of adventures planned. There's always something on the go, but we have a trip planned for Iceland in the spring.
Yep.
What do you think you're most looking forward to seeing or doing in Iceland?
Oh, in Iceland?
Yeah.
Oh, besides Elf School.
I'm really ridiculously excited about that.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Maybe we should explain what that means, because that's a really weird thing to just say and then not clarify.
Well, I don't know about the elves. I haven't read much about the Elf School itself, only what you've told me. I know Iceland and Iceland, a lot of Nordic countries like that have a tradition of believing in the wee folk, the fairies, the elves. So I've read that they'll actually. In one case, there was a great big rock, and the road was going. They instead of moving the rock like we would, they diverted the road around the rock as to not disturb the fairies. Like, this is built into their infrastructure, so
it's pretty cool.
Can you fill me in a little bit about Elf School?
Yeah, so I looked into it a few years ago when I was thinking about taking the kids on a trip to Iceland.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, when we travel places, because we homeschooled historically, we find all of the interesting things to do that are also somewhat educational, which is really everything when you think about it. But this is a place that you go for. I think they have different programs, but you can go for like day programs where they teach you all of the legends of the area about all of the wee folk and take you on tours to different places where sightings have happened and that sort of thing.
That's cool.
It's a neat little.
Wow. I'm pretty sure that I've in my life I've seen. I'm pretty sure. Otherwise, I was either hallucinating or for real. I'm pretty sure I've seen what I thought was either a leprechaun or a fairy in real life. So
here's the thing, though. You've told me that story, and didn't someone else see it at the same time?
Well, there was another instance where Julian, my son, who is 20 now, when I think he must have been maybe 14, 15 or something like that. We were driving. And we swear to God, we saw a little winged person fly up over the hood and kind of hover in front of the windshield for a brief second and then go. And I was like this, and he goes, "Did you see that too?" And I said, "Yeah, you saw that, right?" And so I don't know what was going on, maybe, but someone else could confirm that we saw that.
It's interesting. Like, I'm on a paranormal investigation team, so I'm not going to say you didn't see a fairy. What I think, there are a lot of things that go on in the world and that exist in the world that we just don't fully understand. And I think, 100 years from now, we'll look back on all of these things that people thought were ridiculous, that are just, common knowledge, and go, how could they not have known that? It's not necessarily saying fairies, but there are lots of things that are unexplored, really.
What's the saying about magic is just science we don't understand yet?
That was Lily's saying.
Was it?
So I have 5 kids, and Lily is the oldest. She's 13 now, but when she was like 3 years old, she said that to me. She just, we were saying, like, she asked about magic, and I said, oh, well, do you think magic is real? And she said, well, I think that magic is just science that we don't understand yet.
Right. Think about medical science, right? 100 years ago, wash your hands. Maybe not 100 years ago, maybe more, but
sure. But I saw a really interesting. Oh, actually, no, Jen was the one that showed it to me. A late night segment where Jon Stewart was talking about basically how in the last pandemic, like 100 years ago, the advice for what to do, wash your hands, stay 6 feet apart, wear a mask, we're the exact same. So we haven't really, oh my gosh, we haven't really advanced that far, right? Like it's, but also that was a funny thing, because how that came up was I was saying that I was talking about an article that I'd seen on a science website about, I believe this was the one where they were growing humans without any egg or sperm cells, just growing humans from scratch. And I'm pretty riled up about that. I really don't think that that's a good idea, only because I don't think that there's any reason to do that is not sinister. Spare parts, or like labor force, or like there's no good reason to do that, because we're already overpopulated, right?
Clone army.
No good reason, literally no good reason. And what he was talking about also in that interview was how, he basically, that chances are science is what's going to kill us, because, people just are like, well, I can do this. That doesn't mean
one, welcome our clone overlords.
I think that there's a lot of value to thinking about those things.
Oh, of course.
And I don't know, where do you draw the line in science, though, right? That's the question. We have this conversation with the kids a lot about like artificial intelligence.
Right.
And I personally think, from like a philosophical standpoint, if you have an AI that, boy, we've really deviated from Adventure in Beer, haven't we? But if you have an AI that can think and, I'm going to say feel, because I think that is possible. We're just a collection of electricity, how is that any different? So I do think that if you were to create artificial intelligence that was humanoid and could, adapt in the same ways we do, that they should basically have the same rights.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know for sure. I guess the world needs more philosophers now.
Yeah.
More now than ever.
Yes, because we're going to start doing all of the things that you really have to think real hard about before you should be doing them.
So, elf school.
So back to the elves.
Meh.
Anyways.
Hard left turn it.
Hard left turn it elves. So what else about Iceland?
Well, I'm pretty excited with the Icelandic Museum of Witchcraft and Wizardry, which is real.
Yes.
Icelandic witchcraft and wizardry has a long tradition. They have the only known pair of necropants.
It still makes me laugh every time.
Necropants, according to Icelandic magic, if you got the permission of your friend before they passed away to use their skin to make pants, everything intact, you would be blessed with an unlimited amount of riches. So the legend goes. So the necropants. So according to the museum, they have the only known pair that were actually made. I think they said around 1100, 1200, something like that. You can't actually see them. They're stashed away in private, but you can see the replica.
Yeah.
And pictures.
I do love museums, so that appeals to me. but also necropants.
Necropants. But also, I've always wanted the history of Iceland was quite amazing too. You know, the Vikings and the migration and the history. Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to it.
I'm pretty jazzed about hot springs.
Hot springs and beer.
Yeah, and beer.
Yay, beer.
I think we looked and there were like 20 some craft breweries in Iceland right now. So
yeah, and it's a teeny weeny country.
But aren't there like some laws that make beer
expensive,
pretty ridiculously expensive compared to
from what I understand?
Yeah, so that'll be something to research before we go, or before by the time we get back.
Worth it.
Yeah. As long as Icelandic beer is good, but
as long as it's good,
you know, I've rarely met a beer I didn't like. So
true.
Have you come across many beers that you like just really don't like? I won't get you to say like names or anything, but is there something that you were particularly not fond of aside from the sunscreen beer?
The sunscreen beer was bad, but it wasn't dump outable bad. Mm-hmm. The only one I can think of that I actually dumped out in the last year or two was that sickly sweet Omnipolo one.
Oh yeah,
and there was nothing wrong with it per se. It was sugar water, sugary, watery beer. It was just way too sweet for my taste. I don't come across
beer I don't like very often, as you know. But there have been 2 times, aside from the sunscreen beer, which I did actually finish.
Yeah, we finished that.
But there were 2 times that I couldn't finish. And once was we had a sour cherry something
kind of remember
at Christmas. Yeah. But it just tasted like Black Forest cake that had sat out on the counter too long.
Right.
So I might have still finished that. But I didn't like it very much. But when we went to
resentfully.
Yeah. When we went to World of Beer, remember I got, I think we were on like our 3rd flight, and there were a few that were really sweet in a row, and I don't love sweetness in beer anyways, but this one, it was good if it was the only thing, but I think we just had like a chocolate mint one just before that, which was really sweet, which was tasty.
Which the chocolate mint one, and when I got to Cleveland, that was the one at the first brewery I stopped at the tier 1 tier or
Southern Tier.
Thank you. They made that one, and I was like, didn't I just try this one?
Yeah. And it was tasty, and that was great. But then by the time I got to my 4th, it was also really sweet. And I don't even remember what it was, but I took a couple of sips of it, and I just couldn't do it. And I asked you to drink it, and you were like, no, I cannot drink that. Because we both had sweet ones on our flight. And so I just went and traded it in for another one. But that, I don't think the beer itself was the problem. Like, if it was only that, it would have been fine. But it was the thing that we talked about not being able to drink so many of these sweet ones in a row, right? It was like the succession of stacking them that was the problem.
It would be the same as like being on my 3rd piece of cake, for instance. I simply couldn't do it. I mean, I could try.
Do not recommend. Okay, so for this one,
yay!
We've got our Flying Monkey Cotton Candy Double IPA. This I'm not going to mix with the other things. So I'm going to go...
You're going to rinse these off?
Rinse these glasses. You're going to look at this can and tell people what it's all about, because this is ridiculous.
Well, this is a mystery to me.
Yeah.
All right, I'm just going to tip that.
Yeah.
It's a little here, so it's more on me. What we have here, this is the Cotton Candy Double IPA from Flying Monkeys. And Flying Monkeys are... Where are they from? Barrie, Ontario. Earth, Milky Way, Universe, Infinity. Okay, this double IPA is
tiny letters.
Alliterative
expletive.
Alliterate expletive of giggles of goodness. Sweet abomination.
That sounds about right. That's a sweet abomination. That just pretty much probably sums this up. Aww. So I'm sure it will be tasty, mostly because the lady told me it would. We'll go.
Barley, malts, spelt hops.
So anything on there that you think?
Sugar, strawberry puree.
Yes, she told me about the strawberry puree.
Cotton candy floss sugar.
Yeah, actual cotton candy crystals.
More sugar.
More sugar.
Natural cotton candy flavor.
Okay, so this is natural cotton candy flavor?
Natural.
What the hell is that supposed to mean? Cotton candy's not natural?
There's nothing natural.
What is natural cotton candy flavor?
What we need to do is make some cotton candy now. And like
you know what? I have a cotton candy machine out there.
I know, but setting it up.
I thought about it. I did. So before we start this, though, I'm just going to remind people that it's important to go follow us on social media.
How did you do that?
How'd you do that? I'll teach you, Josh. So go like and subscribe, because this is how you manage to not miss all of the fun, because we don't always remember to announce when we're going to do a show. So this is how you make sure to find them all.
When I do my videos, I literally say, look right there. Do that. Do that thing there.
I mean, that's important too. So you could see all of Josh's socials on
those are mine.
On the banner down there. Of course they are. Yeah, you're my guest. So you go follow that beer thing. So at that beer thing on TikTok, on Facebook, on Instagram. Hey Josh, what you drinking on YouTube?
Yeah. Oh, there's also the Twitter. There is Twitter.
Oh, you have Twitter too. Okay, yeah.
Haven't figured out how to set it up completely yet.
So yes.
So soon Twitter
definitely
as well.
That too.
As soon as I can link them all together, they'll be
awesome. And then you can find me, Adventure Seeker Sarah, all of those same platforms. Yeah. At Adventure Seeker Sarah on TikTok, on Facebook.
Much more interesting.
I'm gonna post more on TikTok. There's not a whole heck of a lot there recently, but lots to post. Just making videos takes time. And then also you can find me on YouTube at Adventure Seeker Sarah, and thatbeerthing.ca, adventureseekersarah.com. But also make sure to follow Connect TV on Facebook, and also Connect TV's YouTube. I'll try to post a link in the comments for that, because we're going to have a whole bunch of creators that have content going there, so you won't miss a thing. And then both Connect TV and Adventure Seeker Sarah, there is a Patreon. So if you want to get a bunch of bonus exclusive content, that is the place for that.
And you should. She's way more interesting than me.
And not if you like beer. I mean,
well,
you're very, very interesting if you like beer. I'm so curious about this. Okay. Really, I am. Okay. So
I can already smell it, and I haven't even put it near my nose.
I'm kind of wondering if I should have finished with this, because this is the one we're least likely to enjoy. Oh my gosh, the cotton candy is made into skulls.
Oh,
amazing. Right. Okay, and this is actually really strong. It's like an 8.1%.
Yeah, this is
so.
All right. Well,
all right.
There it is.
Cheers to weirdness. Oh, wow. Okay, that smells like strawberries.
It smells like strawberry cotton candy. Like, yeah, it smells like strawberry candy.
That is way better than I expected.
So much better than I expected.
Okay.
So what I like about it is that the beer flavors come through. It's not just overpowered by sugary sweetness. So
I expected this to be overly sweet.
Yeah, that's what I mean, right?
But it's not.
So I can taste the beer. I can taste the maltiness of the beer. I can taste the hops in the beer. I can taste the beer. It's not just sickly sweet candy.
Wow.
Like that one I was talking about that I had to dump. So yay to Flying Monkeys.
This is way better than I expected it to be.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna be honest. It's delicious. It is. Yeah. And you can smell the cotton candy a little bit, but I don't think it tastes like cotton candy. It tastes like strawberries.
Yeah, it smells like cotton candy.
Mm-hmm. I gotta say, I'm a bit of a cotton candy expert.
Yeah, I guess you would be.
Well, we actually have a cotton candy machine because of kids' parties.
It's got a cotton candy flavor to it, but it's not cotton candy. Yeah, like you said, I was expecting like Crush soda or something like that.
But I actually like this a lot more than I expected to.
Me too.
Yay!
So, I mean,
this was like a full victory. We liked all of these.
Hardly find a beer you don't like.
Fair, but I mean, like, I would buy each of these again.
Absolutely.
So.
Yeah. Especially the. Which one? Especially the maple porter.
That was really good. You know what though? I really like Collective Arts. No. I know I shouldn't be like favoring one particular brewery, but
no.
But this is not the beer show. This is my show, so I can do whatever I want. But no, seriously, I almost never find a beer from Collective Arts that I don't like.
Yeah.
And
they do it.
The ones that I do like, I really, really like, which is like
Absolutely.
all of them. That's pretty impressive. If I go just like shopping for beer for myself, I did a live earlier from the LCBO.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, just while I was choosing, so that people could see the insane selection that's there. I don't go to the beer store; I go to the LCBO.
And they didn't get all pissy at you for filming in the store.
No, I thought they might. Okay. But I don't know. I'm very cheerful and I smile a lot. It's hard to be mad at me.
It is true. It is true.
And I was fast, But if with all that selection, often like when we go to like pick up beers, if we're doing like tasting with all of us, I end up picking several collective arts every time.
Well, they have such a wide selection.
They have a wide selection. There's stuff that I really like to go back to over and over. Plus the cans are really cool. Like if I had space, I just have shelves full of collective arts beer cans,
Frat boy beer.
Totally. I'm not even joking. It's good art.
Beer can. Yeah. And those are those like, what is that?
I'm gonna say this is a monster made mostly of moss, and I'm just gonna pretend there's lichens in there because it'll make me happy.
Sure.
Yeah, I really like it.
Okay, wasn't sure if that was like cannabis leaves or not.
No.
Because why
no, he looks like he's just made out of plant material.
Good.
So I'm gonna say there's some plants and some moss and
it's like a green man.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's a good monster. I like him.
Good.
Yeah. All right. Wow. I am actually
that's
quite happy
good
with our selections.
Good choices.
Here. So why don't you tell people just a little bit more about your show before we go and what they can expect when they go and follow you and tune in?
Okay. My show is Hey Josh, What You Drinking on YouTube. I guess also on Facebook, and there's usually a teaser clip on TikTok, just a clip, 15, 20 seconds, nothing major, but it shows you what I'm going to have. On my show, I try to do a wide variety of things. I've been doing that for almost 2 years now, and it started out of absolute boredom during the beginning of the pandemic. In the winter, I did nothing but porters and stouts in the first month of December when I did it, and it just kind of grew from there. So I try to do a wide variety, and I try to be as objective as possible. If I don't like something, I'll say so, but I also recognize that everybody has different tastes, and I won't trash one over the other. I recently did is cheap beer really as bad as is cheap beer really that bad? And I really had to set aside my own biases about beer and flavors and stuff like that, and say, okay, I mean, this maybe this has a bad reputation, but it's all right. And if you only have $2 to spend on your beer budget, this is pretty good. So, I love beer and I love talking about it, and I kind of hope that other people would like to tune in and watch me love beer and talk about it.
Fantastic. And I'm actually really excited because I know I like your show anyways, but then you also have some new and interesting things coming up that'll be a lot of fun to watch. So
I'm trying to be a little more, I want to say professional, but I don't want to be professional either. I'm trying to be a little more savvy, I guess. How would you say that? The first ones are very rough. The first the year or so is very rough. Really, it's just me sitting at my kitchen table, which is fine.
I mean, I own Studio Lights, and we're sitting at my kitchen table by a window. So,
you own Studio. I think they're in my.
Some of them are in your house.
I think they're in my house right now because I intended to use them. But I'm trying to be a little more, like I said, professional. I'm trying to make it a little more slick, but also I don't want to be slick. I don't want it to be I want to keep the roughness.
We're good with real.
Yeah, I want it to be real, like this. I mean, Necropants.
You literally never know what might come up on our shows. There is that. So
AI and pants made for the kid.
This was kind of a weird episode.
It took a hard left there. crazy town for a minute or two.
All right. Well, we'll finish off this beer as we turn off the camera. But thank you for he's on it. So thank you for joining me. I definitely want people to go watch you too, and I might make an appearance from time to time as well. Do that. Oh yeah, you're good at this. Yeah. I see. Yeah, you've got this technique down.
And if
that's impressive. You've been practicing. I see.
I have.
Yes. So we're gonna say goodbye for now, and until next time, happy adventuring and drink some beer.